Chihuahua.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Rise and shine. It's butt whipping time.
Where are you from, bro?
Oh, I'm from Tennessee.
Oh, that's a sick accent, bro. I haven't heard that before. That's awesome, dude.
How impressive is that to you?
Really impressive.
And they run through our ass like shit through a tin horn, man, and we could not stop them.
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
I don't think nobody's worried about that type of stuff.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
You're not really that stupid, are you?
So don't shake your fucking head. You ask a question, I'm telling you how I feel.
I can sit here and tell you for an hour. You wouldn't understand because you've never played. You've never been an athlete before in your life.
I am still up 20 grand from this last time I stick it in you.
More proud of yourself.
I don't agree with that. So, just go ahead on your soliloquy, but I just don't agree with that.
Oh, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that.
Because we have a tendency to think that way around here.
You're such fucking dopes.
Here. You come up, take the mic, make all your statements. There's a seat here and there's a seat.
That's about as PG rated as I can say it.
Second place of all of college football. You need to think of it that way. You need to think of it that way.
Is this live?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Game On, another episode of Crick's Corner. I am your host, Crick, from sportspicks.locals.com. Good to have everybody in here this afternoon. I don't know how long this show will run, y'all, because there's only so much we can talk about. We got a real small slate of college football on this championship weekend, and I'll be honest with you, man, with the CFP on the horizon, I feel like I have as little excitement as I have ever had for the conference championship games. To me, they feel kind of like a moot point at this moment. What up, Amish? How you doing, man? Raiding the stream. Appreciate you, brother. How you doing, man? Good to see you this afternoon. We're going to get in here and we'll give you all Crick's picks and everything. I wound up diving through these games quite a bit, man, throughout the week. I've looked at a lot of different things, and I do like everything that I am taking. I like it a lot, man. I've got at least 2 units on every single play this weekend. Obviously not a whole lot of them, and I ain't got plays on every game. I ain't going to mess with the Conference USA championship game and things like that, but I do have a few of those smaller group of 5 championship games that I do like, man. So will Notre Dame land at the 5 or the 6 seed? I think that depends, sir, if Oregon wins the Big Ten championship or not. If Oregon wins the Big Ten championship and defeats Penn State, which I think they will, if they do, then Oregon will obviously be the number 1 seed. But if Penn State was to find a way to win that thing, I think that would wind up pushing Notre Dame to the 6th seed. They're ranked 4 right now, but we all know they cannot receive a bye because they are not in the conference, do not play in a conference championship game. And the top 4 highest ranked conference champions will receive the byes. So Notre Dame, even at number 4, the highest they can be ranked is 5. I think the only way they drop below 5 is if Penn State was to beat Oregon. I think Oregon would bump them back a spot because I don't think they would let them. I don't think Oregon's dropping anything lower than 5, even with a loss. So it would have to be a really, really bad loss for them to consider Notre Dame over Oregon, because I don't think you can punish Oregon for having to play the extra game. They are the only undefeated team headed into the conference championship weekend. So I don't think you can punish Oregon. And like I said, once again, though, I said that I didn't think Ohio State was going to lose either, so I didn't think that mattered. But I think Oregon is going to wind up winning that Big Ten championship. I actually got a 3-unit play on that, but we'll get to all those in just a few minutes. But I'm going to pull up my card, man. My picks are posted. I got them posted just a little bit ago. They're posted over at sportspicks.locals.com, where we got the great Robert Barnes making the official picks. Y'all can go sign up for that and get his picks. He's got a lot that he likes this week. He got a couple 5% plays out there. So if y'all want to sign up, go get those. I post all my stuff for free over there and on my X. But if you want the official picks from Robert, you will have to get your subscription over there at sportspicks.locals.com. But like I said, they are up. Mine are up for free over there, and they are up on my X at Cricket1414. Cricket is spelled with 2 T's there. But I appreciate you, Amish. I appreciate you giving us the raid, man. Good looking out. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. Like I said, y'all, I don't know how long this stream will go today. I do have my picks this week. Instead of putting out 2 different posts with the NFL with such a small slate in college, I just combined them in. They're all in one post. You got the NFL picks and the NCAA picks all in one spot right there. They're pinned at the top of the X or top of Twitter, whatever. And then, like I said, over at Sports Picks. So normally I put out 2 different posts, but this week with a small slate for college football, I decided just to give y'all, put it all into one, man. Put it all into one there. So, well, let's look at this first game. We got some games tonight, man. Championship weekend kicks off tonight. You got the Conference USA championship game at 7 p.m. Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is -4 in this one at -112. You got Western Kentucky at +4, -108. plus 150 on the money line for the Hilltoppers, and then minus 180 for Jacksonville State, total of 59 in that one, minus 108 to the over and minus 112 to the under. I don't have an opinion in that one. That line's kind of been funny throughout the week. I think it opened at 3.5, went up to 4.5, went back down to 4. So I don't know how much money is actually publicly being bet on that game right there. If I had a lean at all in that game, I would lean to the over. I do think they will probably score some points in that thing, but I don't have an opinion on the side there. All right, here's the one I'm ready to watch tonight, y'all. This is the game I'm ready to watch tonight. UNLV at Boise State. The Mountain West Conference Championship game is at Boise State. The higher seed does get the home field advantage there. They've talked about some inclement weather and things like that. I know it's going to be cold up there in Boise, Idaho, up toward Will's way. I see him already in here. He loves to come in here for the college football streams and just poke the bear just a little bit, but that's my guy, man. And I know it's cold up his way right now. He's been telling me all about it, so it's going to be cool up there tonight in Boise, Idaho. But Boise State minus 4.5 at home, minus 108. UNLV plus 4.5 on the road, minus 112, plus 160 on the money line for the Rebels, and minus 192 for the Broncos. Total of 57.5 in this one, which is minus 110 both ways. And I've seen that total sit there pretty still all week long at 57.5. The line has bounced around some in this game. I think I saw it get as low as 3.5, and then it's gone up to 4.5, went back down to 4 earlier, and it's gone back out to 4.5 when I put my picks out. When I type the picks up and release those, y'all, I bet all my picks right then. That way I can get those lines, and I can tell y'all that I'm on those lines. So when I bet it about an hour and a half ago or so, it was Boise State minus 4. And I think that was at minus 112 or something like I said. It's all listed. But you can get 4.5 right now, minus 108. I really don't think it matters, y'all. Everything in my heart wants UNLV to win this game because I do not think a group of 5 school deserves a bye, a first-round bye. I do not believe that. Schedules are not hard enough. They're not tough enough. The group of 5 is 11-80 against the Power 4 this year. Those teams do not deserve a bye in the college football playoff. That's all we'll say about that. However, the fact that my heart wants everything inside of me to see the UNLV Rebs win this thing tonight, I know that it's probably going to go the other way, and Boise State is the better football team. They did play earlier in the year down at UNLV. Boise State a 5-point win for them there, 29-24. So the line obviously set right on that. I think Boise State might blow the doors off. If it is an inclement weather game and it is tougher to throw the football, this definitely plays in the favor of Boise State. Quarterback Boise State, Maddox Madsen, has also been very efficient with the football this year, something like 21 touchdowns thrown, only 3 picks. So he has been a big cog in that wheel that has been able to help the Boise State Broncos get to 11-1. Ashton Jeanty, we all know about Ashton Jeanty. He's a Heisman hopeful. I don't think he's going to win it. That's Travis Hunter's award. That's what's going to happen this year. But Ashton Jeanty is a hell of a football player. He's going to be a hell of a football player at the next level. I did see that he announced that he will be entering the NFL draft after this season. Nick says Hawks over Lakers. Oh, man, you're in the wrong spot. You're looking for NBA. Will, if you're out there, man, what do you think about the Hawks over the Lakers? I'm not the NBA guy, Nick. I am the college football guy, man. But we'll see if we can find you an answer to that. Maybe somebody in the chat. We got some NBA folks in the chat, so maybe they can check that out for you. But the Lakers got it put on them the other night. Lost about 41 in that thing? They all looked awfully dejected right there, but they were talking about having LeBron play 82 games this season and all that. And I thought that was a bad idea when they were saying it. I think they're quickly rethinking that, realizing. But what picks you got for college football? My picks are posted, brother. That's what we're going over right now. They're all highlighted right here, what I'm on, but they are posted over at on my X at Cricket1414. Cricket is spelled with 2 T's. They're pinned at the top of my profile there. And they're also posted over at sportspicks.locals.com. So you can see everything I'm on, the amount of units I'm recommending for each play and all that. But we're going through those right now, sir. But good luck to you on the Hawks over the Lakers. I have no idea on that one. I cannot give you an educated opinion there. But back to Boise State, man. I just feel like they had the close call with this UNLV team earlier in the season right there. Being able to play this game at home with everything on the line. A lot of times you see teams buckle under the pressure. But if there is an inclement weather factor tonight, that obviously plays in the favor of Boise State. UNLV did hold Ashton Jeanty to his second lowest rushing total in the game this year at 128 yards when they played earlier. But I think that guy's probably going to handle business tonight, man. Guy's a hell of a football player. UNLV does have a great run defense, but I think they will just eventually wear them down. There is a little more depth on this Boise State team than the UNLV team, and I think 4.5 at home right here is probably going to end up being a steal. The more I've thought about this game, now let me be very clear. I want UNLV to win this football game. I do. Everything inside of me. I will not be upset if I lose my 2-unit play on Boise State because UNLV won this damn thing straight up. I will not be upset about that at all. Now, when Boise State wins this damn thing by a field goal, I'm going to lose my mind. But I don't think it's going to happen, man. this could be one of those where Boise State kind of runs away with it. But I think Ashton Genty's going to have another big game. They're trying to showcase him. Obviously, Travis Hunter can't play this weekend, and they're going to try to showcase Ashton Genty and let him get 1,000,000 yards tonight. So I do think Boise State winds up running all over him. I do think they correct some things from the first game down in Las Vegas, and I like Boise State. Anything under a touchdown right here, and this might wind up being a 2+ touchdown victory for Boise State. They might put it on tonight. So we'll see. They'll kick off at 8 p.m. up there in Boise, Idaho. But I am on the Broncos tonight, -4.5 against UNLV for a 2-unit play there. I also like Tulane at Army. Y'all know we love the story about Army this year. Navy, all those schools doing very, very well. We love seeing our service academies have great seasons. I think that great season is almost over. Let's remember now, this is a championship game, but let's also remember the Army-Navy game is next week. There could be a look-ahead factor for Army. It may sound crazy, but the Army-Navy game is a big, big deal to all these folks, and that is just on the horizon next week. It feels weird to say that because it's the only game played after the conference championship games, but they do have that next weekend, and I think this Tulane team playing so bad against Memphis last week, which that's a good Memphis football team, man. It is. Beat them 34-24 last week down at Tulane. But before that, Tulane's only 2 losses were to Power 4 schools in Kansas State and Oklahoma. But I think Army has seen their best football this year. I do think Army wins the game against Navy next week, but I think this one tonight is a tall task for them. It will be played at West Point. This is another one of those smaller conference championship games that the higher-seeded team does get the home field advantage. So Army will be playing at West Point, but I think Tulane, having played as bad as they did last week, I think they will be tuned up, ready to go. And I think they are the best team in the AAC. So it will be fitting for me. I think Tulane, much like Boise State, you're okay anything up to a touchdown. And it could also be another one where Tulane winds up running away with it. So I don't think these games are going to be great games tonight, if I'm being honest with you. So I am on the green wave also for a 2-unit play, -4.5 as well at Army. Let's look at tomorrow here. We've got the Big 12 Championship. Will be the first one that kicks off tomorrow. Iowa State at Arizona State. It's not at Arizona State. I think this one's actually played in Jerry World. All these big Power 4 conference championships will be played at neutral sites, y'all. And that's also listed on the picks over there. But I think this one's played down in Jerry World, Dallas Cowboy land, and all that. Probably the best football they'll see in that stadium all year long. So we know the Cowboys ain't doing great things. Whatever. There might be a show with them and the Bengals on Monday night. I think they'll score a bunch of points in that one. But Arizona State right here, I think the X factor is obviously who the X factor has been for this team all year long. And that's Cam Scatterbo, man. That dude is a bad dude, bro. He's got 5 games this year with 150-plus rushing yards, second to only Ashton Genty, who will be at the ceremony in New York for the Heisman Trophy. So Arizona State right here, they got a very experienced offensive line. And Iowa State ranked second nationally in completion percentage against, but they struggle very mightily against the run. They rank something like, it's 100. They rank 112th in yards per carry, allowing 5.1. 114th in percentage of opponents' runs that go 5 yards or more, and 121st in yards before contact. Well, Scatterbo is second nationally in forced missed tackles with 93. So if they cannot get that man on the ground, I think they're going to have all kinds of problems. He also averages 42.5 receiving yards per game, and he has had a hell of a season, even missing 1 game with a shoulder injury. So I think Mr. Scatterbo is going to have a big day in this one. I actually bet Arizona State, like I said, about an hour and a half ago, it was at -1.5. It is now down to -1, but probably just a correction. You'll see the money probably pretty balanced on this game right here because I think there are a lot of people that don't know a lot about either one of these teams. But I have been watching this Arizona State team for a few weeks now, and I do like that experienced offensive line. And then you got Scatterbo in there. There's a tough, gritty dude. And seeing Iowa State struggles against the run this year, they were only giving up, I think, 14.4 points a game in their 7-0 start. But since then, going 3-2, they're giving up 26.8 points per game. And I like Arizona State to be able to establish a line of scrimmage, shorten this game up some, control the possessions, be able to sustain some drives. And I do think that anything under a field goal right here for Arizona State is going to be money in the bank. So I like the Sun Devils tomorrow. I do not have an opinion on the Miami of Ohio game, but I just think it's hilarious. They're playing that in Detroit, Michigan, because Michigan is Ohio's daddy. Georgia at Texas, the SEC Championship, 4 p.m. Georgia, they're gonna make Georgia dogs again in this thing. I just don't understand it, y'all. I don't. Georgia went down to Austin, smacked these boys in the mouth. I know it was a little bit ago, back in October and all that, and I understand it's hard to beat a good team twice. But that was down in Austin, Texas, where they had a big crowd. Georgia went up 23-0, sucked the wind out of the sails of that crowd, and they never really got back in it. But in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Excuse me, don't let me call it the Georgia Dome. Steps will get on to me. But in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, that's going to be a lot of red and black down there. Obviously, Texas travels well, and they got fans all over and that stuff. Just saying, though, Georgia is used to playing in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Already done it once this year, and have done it every year for how many years in a row now? Usually about twice a year. They usually play a kickoff game down there, and they usually wind up in the SEC championship. So they've got a lot of experience playing inside this building. I did see that they can't bring Bevo, man. Big Longhorn mascot. He's not going to be able to go on the trip. They said they simply do not have enough room on the sideline to keep Bevo. So he will not be making the trip this time. We will not get to see him and Uga square off again like they did in 2019 when that big thing went breaking out, ripping through police barricades and everything else. It's crazy. That big ass cow gets moving. There ain't nothing you can do about it, man. Big Longhorn, man. He gets to rolling. There ain't going to be nothing you can do about it there. But he ain't going to make the trip to Atlanta. Don't think it matters. Georgia in this thing, I love Georgia getting the 3 right here. I'm not really sure why the line's has gone up, but I took the plus 120 on the money line, and I have a 3-unit play on Georgia plus the 3 right here. I've just seen this team play very, very well in spots like this. And this Texas team, I don't know how they've just fixed it. I'll tell you what Texas does have to do if they're going to be able to stay in this game even. They can't get down like they did in the last one. I mean, that kind of sounds maybe goes without saying, but you look at what Texas had to do in the last game. They like to run the ball. They got a big offensive line themselves, and they like to be able to run the ball, control that clock, and establish that line of scrimmage as well. But in the last game, when they got down so much early, all they could do, they slung that pill all over the thing. I think they threw it 49 times in that game, which is a lot in a college football game. They threw it 49 times. Quinn Ewers got sacked 5 times. Arch Manning even came in, got sacked a couple times. So if they have to just drop back and throw the ball and they know it's going to be obvious passing situations for Texas, Georgia's able to just pin their ears back and let that front 7 do work, and all those dudes are nasty. So if they can stay in the game and be able to control the clock running the football, sustain some drives, and not have to throw it too much downfield, then Texas got a shot in this thing. But if they're going to have to drop back and be an obvious passing situation, Georgia, I think, will feast on them just like they did down in Austin, Texas there. Now, Georgia's offensive line also been susceptible in spots. You look at that game down at Ole Miss, they got dominated. They got whipped, and that's kind of weird to say about a Georgia team because since Kirby Smart has been there, they have been the more physical team usually in about 95% of the games that they have played. Excuse me, y'all. But in that game against Ole Miss, they were not the more physical team. They got whipped and bullied all over that field. And so you see them bounce back a couple weeks later, and I'm sorry, y'all. I got something hung in my throat. You see them bounce back a couple weeks later against my Balls, where Carson Beck played his best game of the season. The offensive line also played their best game of the season. Imagine that, as is tradition. Then boys show up to play against the Balls, and they did have a great game. That's a very good football team. You look at the 2 losses there, obviously the one at Alabama where they came all the way back and almost got that thing. But down at Ole Miss, obviously they got dominated there too. But both those games, they fell behind early. So for either one of these teams, you really want to be in a spot to where you can keep your game plan, play a very balanced attack and all that. What to see if Georgia's line can hold up, because there's obviously a bunch of beasts on that Texas defensive line as well. But I cannot bet against Georgia getting the points and being a dog, because every time I've tried to do that, it has bit me in the ass. So I am on the dogs in that one. Next one. I do not have an opinion on Marshall, Louisiana. We know that Steps team. He loves the Thunder and Herd, man, but I cannot, I don't know. That Louisiana team's a pretty good football team too. Sitting there at 10-2, I believe. And 5.5. This will be another game that's played at the home field of the higher ranked team. So Louisiana will be the home team in this one. Marshall's been a solid squad, man. They, even as dogs on the road in tough spots, they've came through for us there. We made some money off this Thunder and Herd the last few weeks, but I don't have an opinion in this one. I may wind up putting a little sprinkle on the Marshall money line just with my heart in that one, but I'm not going to recommend anything there because I don't have, like I said, I don't really like either side of that one. Oregon, Penn State. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, but I think Oregon is going to wind up running away with this one. I just think that is the better football team. I think when you put them indoors, the type of offense they have, and this game will be played indoors in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of Steps Indianapolis Colts there. But I think Oregon is going to be able to run all over them. It'll probably be a game where Penn State's got a physical defense. They got a good rushing attack, and you've seen that give Oregon some problems this year. Nicholas Singleton and Trayvon Allen are both studs in the backfield for Penn State, but I think Oregon, I don't know that they'll be able to keep up with a lot of the speed that Oregon has. You saw Oregon give Ohio State problems with that in the game in Eugene earlier in the year. It was the game we thought we'd be seeing this weekend. Penn State is here kind of on house money, man. Feeling like they own like free rolling because they did not expect to be in this game. Nobody saw the Buckeyes losing to Michigan as 3 touchdown favorites last week. So Penn State, I think they had already kind of packed their bags up and got ready to go to the playoff. Now it's kind of a new lease on life here. And you got an Oregon team that's sitting there coming in knowing when you're the number 1 seed, you're in the catbird seat to play for it all of those things. And I haven't seen a Dan Lanning team yet that really is like, there's no look ahead factor because you're going to have 3 or 4 weeks before you have to play again after this one, especially if you get the bye there. So no look ahead factor for these two teams. And I think Oregon has just been the better football team. I do think they finish business right here. I think they win the thing, and I think you're probably okay taking Oregon anything up to a touchdown as well, much like the Boise State and Tulane games. But I think you could probably even put a little sprinkle, maybe a half unit on Oregon minus 13.5 in this thing. And I think it probably comes through, man. Penn State needs to focus on what Wisconsin was able to do and really cause problems for that Oregon offense in the red zone there. They were able to turn them away a couple different times when they played up at Camp Randall a few weeks ago, just a 16-13 win for Oregon. And Penn State did dominate that team. So if they can find something in the game plan there to be able to create some problems for this Oregon offense. But Dan Lanning's, like I said, another guy that doesn't normally he's one of those cats that learns from his mistakes in that spot. He's kind of from that Kirby Smart, Saban type coaching tree and all that. Dan Lanning knows his stuff as well, and usually see him make pretty good adjustments. So Penn State got to be careful trying to do too much of what Wisconsin did because I feel like the Ducks are going to be much more polished against those kind of looks this time around. But I like Oregon right here. The fact they haven't moved that line down under 3 tells me the books aren't too scared of it either. I think a lot of people are going to want to be on Penn State. That's a good football team in Penn State. There's no doubt about that. But I think that Oregon is just simply the better football team. And I think the fact that they've kept that line above the key number of 3 there at minus 3.5, they're kind of begging you to take Penn State. And I think you can take Oregon safely up to minus 6.5. And like I said, you can even put the half unit sprinkle on them minus, do a half unit minus 9.5 and then a half unit minus 13.5. Then they win by 2 tutties and you just rake it in. All right, y'all. I've thought about this game a lot. And I'm going to wind up putting a really big bet on Clemson in this thing. I don't want that. Once again, much like the Boise State UNLV game, I want SMU to win this thing and be done with it. Well, there's a part of me that does. I think if Clemson wins this thing, I think SMU probably bumps Alabama out of the playoff, and that would just make me smile. So I kind of want that, but this is not betting with my heart. This is I've dove into this one, and Uncle Bob and I are also in agreement on this one. But I'm going to wind up putting a real big bet on this one, a 5-unit play on Clemson. Won our 5-unit play last week. Notre Dame minus 7.5 at USC. Boy, we had to sweat it. It was not easy to get that 5-unit play come through, but we did wind up getting it done. And this one right here, also going to put 5 units on the Tigers at the plus 2.5, and then I will have the full unit. I may wind up putting 2 units on the money line as well, but I've got it listed as 1 unit. So if y'all don't want to go too crazy on this thing, but Clemson has won 7 of the last 9 ACC championship games. Where this game is played is in Charlotte, North Carolina, about 2 hours from Clemson's campus. It's been kind of a alternate home venue for this team in last year, much like the Georgia Bulldogs and the Mercedes-Benz Dome. SMU had a great season, man. But this is a team that's been a very opportunistic team. They have benefited from a lot of turnovers. They have forced 21 turnovers, scored 4 defensive touchdowns, and they are plus 77 in points scored off of turnovers. Well, you look on the other side at Cade Klubnik, who came in just a couple years ago. Last time Clemson was in this game in 2022, came in for DJ Uiagalelei and wound up getting championship game MVP honors, leading the Tigers to a 39-10 win over North Carolina. And he's been the starter pretty much ever since. And this has been his best year. Thrown for over 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And but the Clemson has been at their best when they have been able to find a lot of balance. Phil Moffitt, the tailback, is also a stud, rushed for 1,078 yards this season. But they got to fix the run defense, man. I love Kevin Jennings, the quarterback for SMU. I love what he's been able to do since taking over as a starter. He is 9-0. Actually came into the AAC championship game last year as when the quarterback Preston Stone was injured. Jennings came in and won that thing for him. So he's a very even-keeled dude, man. No stage has been too big for this SMU team just yet. You haven't seen that so far. I kept thinking they would kind of slip up in spots, but they have not. They showed that they very much belong in this league. A lot of people had those questions. They had to kind of give a sweetheart deal when everybody was bailing on conferences. They wanted to find a spot to land. Offered the ACC a sweetheart deal to join, and now they're going to come in and try to win this damn thing in the first year. But Clemson has got to fix their rush defense in this game. In losses to Louisville and South Carolina, the Tigers allowed more than 200 yards rushing in both of those games. Pretty uncharacteristic for Dabo Swinney defenses that pride themselves on the strengths up front with those big, nasty guys in the trenches there. So Clemson's got to be able to kind of set the tone early. You know, this is a good, experienced offensive line for SMU as well. You look at Brashard Smith is leading that strong back. He's an all-ACC tailback here. He's rushed for 1,157 yards and 14 touchdowns there. And like I said, SMU has not let any moment be too big for him yet. So for me, in this spot, it just boils down to the experience Clemson has playing in this building, playing in these moments like this, and that's still Clemson on the other side. If you looked at these rosters on paper up and down, you would think that there was a lot more NFL talent on this Clemson team than on this SMU team. That's not me. Don't shoot the messenger. It just is what it is. There's a lot more 4 and 5 stars on Clemson's roster than there are on SMU's. And so if SMU comes into this game, maybe they are a little shell-shocked. I also didn't like what I heard out of Rhett Lashley, the head coach this week, man, when they're asking him about it. And they're talking about, well, what if you lose? Do you deserve to be in the playoff? And he's already tried to lobby for that, man. What his answer should have been is, it don't matter. We're going to win the damn game, and we're going to be in there no matter what. You ain't going to be able to keep us out. We're going to get a bye. We'll see y'all in 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be ready to go. That's what he should have said. But the fact that he's already trying to lobby for his team if they lose tells me you may not be focused on all the things that you need to be focused on. I'm sorry, but that's what it says to me. If you're already saying that and you're kind of giving off that vibe to me, what kind of vibe do you think you're giving off to your kids? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I am going to wind up big on Clemson this week. I have a 5-unit play on the Tigers at +2.5. And then, like I said, I got another unit on the money line at +120, and I may wind up bumping that up some too. I just look at the experience for Clemson in this spot, man. Dabo Swinney's still a great coach. Rhett Lashley, a great coach too, younger coach. And I feel like Dabo has been in this spot several times before, and I think that's probably what the X factor is going to be here. I think Cade Klubnik has a good game. He's been good at not turning the ball over this year. And you look at a lot of SMU's big wins in those spots was when they were very opportunistic and were able to take advantage of turnovers. I don't think Clemson's going to give them those opportunities. And so we'll see. Kevin Jennings, the young guy, quarterback, continue his great play that he's had. I love that guy. He's a great player, man. I would love to see him have a big game. Once again, everything in my heart, I want to see SMU go ahead and finish the drill here. But then again, I think that might let Alabama in this damn thing, and we don't want that. But I really do think with my head, I think Clemson winds up handling business in this one, and that's why I have the big 5-unit play on them there. And the 3 money lines I wound up taking this week, I didn't mess with the Boise State money line, -4.5, or the Tulane, the -198 on the money line or -205. Y'all know I don't like to lay juice like that. I did wind up taking the Arizona State money line at -118 for the full unit. I took the Georgia money line +120 for the full unit. And then I wound up taking the Clemson money line for the full unit at +120 as well. I actually got the Clemson one at +110 is what it was. So it's moved out a little bit there, but maybe just a correction of some money and things like that. So any of these other games that y'all want to talk about, check on. We can do that if y'all would like to. Like I said, I didn't think this one was going to go very long today, but I did want to get in here and let y'all see what I was on for the weekend. We'll kind of talk about those. We talked about these damn games all week long and all the different opinions that we have from the CFP and all of that stuff. So I was going to look down here. NFL picks that I am on this weekend, man, and we'll talk about these a lot more on Monday, or excuse me, not Monday, but Sunday when we do the Wise Guy Roundtable Sunday morning, and all that. So, but some of the picks I'm on, like I said, these are all listed, y'all, over at sportspicks.locals.com and on my X at Cricket1414. Cricket is spelled with 2 T's. But for the NFL, Will's going to try to tell y'all that he wants to be on these Carolina Panthers, and you've seen a bunch of big money come in on the Eagles. Somebody put a $3 million bet on the Eagles money line. I don't even care. That's a good bet. If I had $3 million, I'd like to put it on there. But I'm taking the Eagles minus the 13. Anytime I see lines this big in the NFL, let me switch over here. I'm looking at Crick's picks. Let me get it over here on the NFL so we can show you all that. Let's see. It's all right. I bet it minus 13. It's already gone up to minus 13.5 there. But anytime I see big spreads like this in the NFL, there's a reason for it. In professional sports, there should never be a line this big like that. And the fact that it's almost 2 touchdowns for the Eagles, once again, this is kind of like it was with the Lions and the Jaguars a few weeks ago, and I told you if it's that high, there's a reason for it, and they're going to cover it. And I feel the same way with the Eagles. I'm putting a 3-unit play on the Eagles this weekend, minus the 13. Like I said, I got them minus 13. You still get them minus 13.5, and I think you're okay. Probably anything under 3 touchdowns. I think you probably take it up to minus 20.5. But for those of y'all that might be a little afraid of, you might want to go ahead and get it minus 13.5 because it probably keeps going up. I don't see anything that drives it back down there. It's not like a bunch of Panthers money is going to be coming in. I know they're begging them to do that, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm on the over in the Bucks Raiders game. I think we're going to score some points in that one, man. I do. In Baker, we trust. I do think the Bucks wind up winning that one, but it feels like a weird spot. 6.5 right there. I could definitely see the Bucks winning that one by a damn field goal, especially the way we won that one last week at Carolina. They kind of gave us, thanks Chuba, he gave us that one back. So fumbling there in OT and giving us a shot to go win that thing. But I'm on the over in that one. And then I like the Saints this week as well, man. I'm looking at the Saints. I took them at minus 4.5 just a little bit ago. It just moved out to 5. Actually got a 2-unit play on the Saints right here. The Giants, I think the Giants all over, but the crying for those folks, man. Daniel Jones obviously moved on. Tommy DeVito was banged up, didn't even play last week, wound up getting Drew Lock in that thing. And so I think the Giants just limited the finish line here. They know they're getting a high draft pick, they're building for the future and all that. What up, Derp? How you doing, man? Good to see you, sir. But yeah, I like the Saints this weekend on 2-unit play right there at the, like I said, I got a minus 4.5, but once again, I think it's another one you're okay, probably up to a touchdown. I like the Cardinals. I love the Cardinals this week, man. I feel like it's a must-win situation for the Cardinals. Stay alive in that division race right there. Seahawks been playing well, but you got to go down on the road in a division game right here, where we saw the Cardinals earlier in a division game this season beat the Rams 41-10. This could be one of those things where Kyler gets right, man. They gave up the big, had the big letdown last week where they were up big at Minnesota. They still have not won in Minnesota since like 1977 or something. And they were up at like 22-6 in that thing and wound up letting Minnesota come all the way back, win that thing 23-22. I think it's a bounce back spot for the Cardinals right here. Kyler, we see him rise up in spots like this in the past. And I think the Seahawks just a tough spot for them on the road in division right here. This team just played a couple weeks ago up in Seattle. I believe it's 16-6 win for the Seahawks there. We were on the Seahawks for a little 2-unit play in that one, but I like the Cardinals to get the revenge spot right here, bounce back from the letdown last week when they blew the lead, and then bounce back from the loss a couple weeks ago up in Seattle. So I like the Cardinals. I actually got a 3-unit play on the Cardinals minus 2.5 at home against Seattle as well. I like the Rams in this spot. I'm going to keep doing this stupid shit. I'm going to keep fading these Bills for whatever reason. They've been kicking my head in all damn year, and I'm going to keep fading them. I'm going to do it again this week, man. I'm going to take the Rams plus 3.5. Right here at home, I'm just expecting the Bills to eventually drop one. Once again, y'all have heard me say that. I don't think all these teams are going 15-2 and 16-1 and all that. I expect them to drop a couple games. It's still professional football. These guys are all so very good on the other side as well. Doesn't matter how bad the team is. They're still pros. And this Rams team is pretty solid. They've got most of their guys back now. Cooper Kupp, Puka, all that healthy. Kyron Williams, look for a decent game out of him. Buffalo Bills have looked pretty good in the front seven. But I think you see some catch the pass out of the backfield, things like that. Matthew Stafford getting rolling. I do think they're probably going to score some points in this game. 49.5, a high total right there. But I like the Rams right here, over 3.5. I would probably go ahead and try to get it right now before it goes down. It may be one of those like last night that winds up going down to 3, and then the Bills win it by 3, and you have to push right there. But if you'd have grabbed the Packers early yesterday at the 3.5, you'd have wound up winning that thing by the hook last night. So if you like the Rams with me, you might want to go ahead and grab it 3.5 because it may be one of those weird ones that wind up going down to 3. I'm not messing with the Bears-49ers game because I don't know what the 49ers are. The Bears, I know they're not very good. They fired the coach and all that stuff, but they should have fired that man after the shit he did on Thanksgiving. Derp said, just watch high school football game and a ridiculous score for the state champion, 74-0 in the state championship. Holy shit. That's crazy, bro. That's 74-0. That is awful. I don't know what's worse, man. Getting beat in the first round of the playoffs or going to the state championship and losing 74-0. Just think, that's going to be so many of those kids' last memory of high school football ever. The fact that they got just trounced in that thing. Whatever. I don't blame you. Run the score up. State championship. It's my job to score points. Your job to stop me. But that's crazy, Dirt. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a lopsided score like that in a state championship game. You do see some of them because you usually wind up having some of these states, man. A lot of states, actually. You'll wind up having just one team that's just heads and shoulders better than everybody else. They're like ranked nationally and everything, and they wind up just winning by 40 all the way through the playoffs. But 74-0, man. Who was it? What game was that, Dirk? Who beat who? I want to know some names, man. I got to see what kind of team that is. 74-0. Holy shit. State championship. Yeah, not messing with the Bears game because, like I said, we know they suck. New coach and all that. They could have the new coach boost or whatever. But San Francisco also very banged up. Christian McCaffrey done for the year pretty much. Jordan Mason done for at least 4 or 5 games. He's on IR as well. Garindo, if some of y'all, those of y'all may be in some fantasy trouble with, it may be too late now because you don't wait until Friday. You should have grabbed this on Wednesday. I'm sure he's gone now, but any of y'all that's still available in your leagues, you can probably plug and play Garindo there, the running back. It's going to be the starter for the 49ers. For some of those of y'all that may have injury problems, it's playoff time and all that, bad time for it. But if he's still available on the waiver wire, he's probably a good option to be able to plug in there. Chargers at the Chiefs. I like the Chargers in this game, man. Once again, Chiefs another team that I think is kind of a fraudulent 11-1 or 10-1, whatever they are at this point. I know they've only lost the 1 game there, but kind of a fraudulent, record for me. I don't think this team's played all that great. I think they've been the beneficiaries of a lot of key calls late in the games. We all know how we feel about that too. So it's Ohio High School State Championship. Marion Local versus Hillsdale. Marion Local won 74-0. Damn, Hillsdale. We got to be better than that, man. Well, those are some fun games to watch up there, Derp. Y'all got some good high school football in Ohio, man. They had a lot of studs up there. That is some fun high school football to watch. Let's see where I lost my thought here talking about high school football. Oh, yeah, Chargers. This is a game where, like I said, the Chiefs, I feel like they should have dropped a couple more than they have already. I like this Chargers team, what they've been able to do. J.K. Dobbins for a few more weeks. He's still on IR there, but I think it opens up some more opportunities to let Justin Herbert fling that pill around. I like what I've seen out of this Chargers defense early on this season. They could create some problems for Patrick Mahomes, who's been a turnover machine this year. But another one that I feel like the Chiefs are going to drop a couple down the stretch. And I like this Chargers team getting north of a field goal here. Even, if the Chiefs do win this game, this is the spot we like to fade the Chiefs. Anything over a field goal in these spots, these high spreads right here. I can't figure them out no matter what. You probably want to go whatever the opposite of what I'm doing in a Chiefs game because they usually kick my head in too. But I do like the Chargers in this spot. And I put the full unit on the +4 and the full unit on the money line at the +180. Look for them to steal one. We're going to trust old Jim in this one. And the last play I'm on the NFL this week, man, I like the Bengals and the Cowboys over 49.5. I think they're going to score all kinds of points. Both these defenses have been struggling this year. You got Joe Burrow, who's been playing well and just not getting any help around him, man, on the defensive side of the ball. They can't stop nobody from scoring. Joe's putting up a bunch of good numbers, man. And that Bengals defense has just not been very good this year. So I think you'll see Cooper Rush with CeeDee Lamb, Rico Dowdle, and those guys. I think they'll be able to put up some points as well because everybody else been able to put up points on this Bengals team. So I think that 49.5 is going to be too low. I think that's another one you might want to snag right now because I think it winds up getting up to probably around 51.5, something like that. Kind of like you saw that Packers line do last night where it kept going up all throughout the day. And me and Steps told y'all we was scared of it. We was all on the under yesterday morning. I bet it early. And I was scared of it. And we could tell real quick that was not going to work out for us in that one. I think it's going to be much the same way on Monday night down there in Dallas. I think you'll score a lot of points in this one. So I actually have a 2-unit play on the Bengals and Cowboys over 49.5 as well. But that's what I'm on this week, y'all. So you can go, like I said, you can go check those out. They are listed over at sportspicks.locals.com. Y'all see them here. I've got them all typed up with all the records. And like I said, they're both on the same post this week. We've got college and NFL there. You got all the records and all the stuff you want to see. Make sure and pay attention to the unit amount recommended for each pick. You'll see like Boise State -4 versus UNLV, 2-unit play. And then you got the kickoff time right there. It's listed under the day it's going to be played on. And then NFL, same way down here. If y'all want to go check those out, like I said, posted over at sportspicks.locals.com where we got the great Robert Barnes making the official picks. And they're posted over on my X at Cricket1414. Cricket is spelled with 2 T's. What up, Mont? How you doing, man? I just bet them all. Well, good luck to us, sir. Good luck to us. Good to see you in here, man. And that's actually their 4th straight title. Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like them boys know what they're doing. Like I said, that's some good high school football up there in Ohio. We got all the state championships actually here in town this week. Man, I'm actually thinking about possibly riding down there early in the morning. It's at Finley Stadium down at UTC, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Spilled down there. That's only about 20 minutes from me, man. I was actually thinking about the team that beat my high school, Saudi Daisy, Macon County defeated them in the first round this year. And they are a squad, man, but they've actually made a run all the way to the state championship game. And they're playing tomorrow at 11 a.m. And I'm thinking about maybe sneaking down there, try to watch a little bit of that game. And I'm pulling. You pull for the team that beats your team, right? I hope they finish the drill, man. Good luck to them. They play Memphis Melrose tomorrow at 11 a.m. So good luck to Macon County out there. It is that time. It's that weekend, man. State championships all across the country. So good luck to any of you young folks out there that may be playing in state championship games this weekend. Enjoy that, man. Enjoy that. It only comes around one time. So shout out to all those folks, even you moms and dads that may be enjoying that stuff. Enjoy that, man. It don't last forever. It's a big time. So good luck to anybody playing in state championships this weekend as well. I might derp. I'm thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about it. That might be a good little trip. I'm going to go check that out. I love me some good high school football. So, but 74-0, that's still crazy there. And you are welcome, Mont. No problem, sir. No problem. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, y'all. Like I said, I know it's kind of a shorter show today, but I did want to let y'all know what I'm on. I waited a little bit later in the week to release my picks because I wanted to watch those line movements for the championship games, kind of see where some of that money was coming in before I put them out for y'all. So, but they are out now, posted in all those spots. We'll be back with y'all bright and early in the morning for your Sports Morning Espresso Shot at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Pacific. We're going to start a little later tomorrow with Saturday and we'll be off and all that. So we'll see y'all at 8 a.m. in the morning there. We got some games tonight. So good luck in all of your wagers. You and your beautiful family stay safe out there. We'll see you bright and early in the morning. And until then, good luck, good gambling, and game on.